everybody. I wanted to do Nathaniel's 5-month update. There's a lot to talk about. So we'll get right into it. Just as far as like his milestones and things like that, he still has not rolled over. And I don't know exactly when babies are supposed to roll over, but I'm pretty sure it should have been by now. The main thing is, and this is a whole thing I'll get into, because of the G-tube, I don't put him on his stomach as much as I should. So he does roll from his back and almost onto his stomach. He gets his legs swung over so they're flat against the floor, but his arm, he doesn't really know where to put it. So he still hasn't rolled over. He still has, like, when I lay him on my chest and stuff, he has lots of upper body strength. I'm not too worried about it. I know it's just because we don't have him on the floor that much on his stomach, but like I said, he's almost rolled from back to stomach. So it's not a huge issue. He smiles and he laughs. I know I haven't really done a lot of video with him. Again, things have just been so crazy, and I don't foresee them ever slowing down anytime soon, so I'll, upload whatever footage I can. But he, is as cute as ever, and we get stopped all the time. I mean, literally, we cannot go anywhere without somebody stopping us and telling us how cute he is. And, I mean, all babies are cute, and I don't mean to brag, but he's just such a little cutie, and I just love him to pieces, and his little fat cheeks. It's an amazing thing being a mom. And, of course, I think he's the best baby ever. He's still so good. I mean, he just doesn't fuss, and he is starting to tease a little bit. He's a little fussier than he normally is, but his a little bit of fussy is nothing. I mean, he's such a good baby. Other than the obvious issues, he just is such a good baby and doesn't, give us any problem at all. He's still spitting up a little bit with the feedings, and that's because, I don't know if I ever mentioned it, but normally what happens at 4 months is when a baby's stomach, when they're first born, the stomach is basically straight down. It doesn't swing over like a normal stomach yet. And that's why babies spit up so much. And normally, by like 4 months, it's swung over. So it's not like a straight line. I think I did talk about this before. And because Nate has a G-tube, that never happened with his yet. Until he gets the G-tube out, then it'll swing over. So because of that, he still spits up a little bit. We've pretty much learned how to control it. It's basically positioning and, not wiggling him too much after a meal. Things like that. I started to talk a little bit about the early intervention program. We have had all the evaluations in regards to that, and we do now go to speech therapy twice a week for him. Normally it's a program that would come into the house. I talked a little bit about that. And the person that we absolutely wanted was booked. Corky, stop it! She was absolutely wonderful. And when she was here just for the evaluation, we absolutely loved her. We wish we could get her, but we can't. And so everyone else was booked that actually comes into the home. So our next option was to take him out or wait for somebody to come into the house. I did not want to wait. I wanted to kind of jumpstart this. I don't think there's any kind of a problem right now with him starting to take solids and things, but I don't want to. It's something I want to get, the ball rolling on. So so twice a week I take him to the hospital and to the physical therapy, or not to speech therapy. It's a speech therapist that works with him. And basically what we do is we go every time around his feeding time, and she basically feeds him. Now, she has done something a little differently than I originally said that I don't necessarily agree with, and she really thinks that we should push the bottle issue, which is fine. He's not, she said like after a month if he won't take it, we won't push the issue, and I kind of let her, do whatever. I don't really do it with him at home, even though she says I should. I don't. I focus on spoon feeding, and he's gotten to where, because the spoon feeding, we've done that for a month now, ever since he was 4 months old, and he's not really swallowing any of it because he's never really, for a long time, he's not swallowed anything, other than like his saliva and things like that. He's not actually had something in his mouth and swallowed it. So, it's like anything else, he's forgotten how to do it. I really wish that all of this, we could have gotten the ball rolling on all of this when he first got out of the NICU, and I don't think there would have been a problem with the bottle. I think we could have got him right back on the bottle with no issues whatsoever. But because you have to do all these evaluations, and then they have to get doctor's orders, and it just takes forever, we're at 5 months now, and we just started therapy. So I think the bottle's gone, but I'm going to let her, fuss with him on that. But as for the spoon feedings, he is not spitting everything out anymore. He's actually holding in his mouth and swallowing some. So it's definitely progress. It's definitely, you know, she's given us some tricks. You know, when you put the spoon in, you put it down in his tongue. I talked a little bit about this before. And she's actually added that we want to push his jaw shut when he eats and kind of massage his cheeks. You okay, buddy? I think he's sleeping. Well, he was sleeping. I'm pretty sure he still is. And massage his cheeks so he gets the tongue movement. She also, I mean, she's a super nice girl. She really is. And I think that it's important, you know, I have always been big on liking your doctors and the people that you see. And I'm even more so with Nate, you know, protective of him and to make sure that we're dealing with somebody that we really trust. I mean, just because we disagree on the bottle issue doesn't mean that she's not absolutely good at, you know, wonderful as what she does. She's a really sweet person. As soon as we take him there, you know, she holds him and she's got a big mirror because she's a speech therapist, so she works with older children as well. And she always, you know, puts Nate in the mirror, and she just had her Christmas decorations up, and he just loved him, and he likes her. I mean, he loves her. He sits with her, and you know, he's always a content baby anyway, but he really doesn't have any problem with her at all. So it's going pretty good, and that's probably going to continue for a little while. Because even after, you know, he can take the solids and everything, I'm sure that they'll probably continue it just because kids with a cleft palate can have some speech problems. And again, everything, I mean, I don't know how much you guys know, but any child, not even with a cleft palate, but any child with any kind of speech problems, the earlier you intervene, the more likely they are to get it corrected and never ever have an issue. And that's really what we're looking to do. Not only that, but she gives us tips on like what not to do with him. Because of the cleft palate, it's very important that all the verbal sounds that he makes, which he is cooing and screaming and, you know, like he yells at us. It's so funny. But it's important that he does all those sounds at the front of his mouth and not the back. And so for a little while he was doing some, like, he won't be able to do, like, guh. Like, guh comes from, like, a G sound comes from the back of the throat. It's important we don't encourage him to do that until after the cleft palate's fixed, because those muscles will be repaired, and if he gets used to making that sound out of the throat now, it'll be more difficult for him to correct it after the palate's been corrected, and he'll have more likely to have speech problems. So pretty much that was very easy to do. You just don't react when he makes those sounds, and when he makes like the, you know, the sounds up front, like la la mama, those are all sounds from up front. I mean, he's not actually making, you know, word sounds yet, but like the vowel sounds up front. We just really encourage him. We make a big deal out of it. We clap and we smile and we scream, and you know, it's very easy to do. So that's going really well. Now, when the early intervention came in, they also recommended that he get physical therapy. They thought that he was he was on the low side of average as far as milestones and things like that go, and the things that he was doing. I don't know if I agree with that or not, but it actually worked out to the best, for our best interest, and I'll tell you why here in just a second. But I just want to go over, we have a physical therapist come in once a week. Again, she's absolutely wonderful, and it's like playtime for Nate. She brings cool toys that he doesn't have. She brings a big exercise ball, which he absolutely loves, and he sits on it, and she turns him on it, and he just has a good time. It's fun. It's somebody to play with. It's 45 minutes a week, and, you know, I don't think it's hurting him any. But anyhow, the reason why it's good that they recommended 2 different services for him is because, I don't know, I think maybe I talked about this before too. I apologize. It's been so long. But we're trying to get what's called a Medicaid waiver for New York State. And basically what that is because we don't qualify financially, as we don't for anything. And we don't make a lot of money. That's the kicker. But we're trying to get a Medicaid waiver, which basically would give him Medicaid as a secondary insurance. We have the primary insurance for him through my husband's work, but it would give him Medicaid to pick up all the co-pays and anything else that like regular insurance doesn't cover for, they will cover for. And basically that's for kids that have a lot of medical problems, you know, that have like chronic illnesses. And basically that will give him, we've already applied for it, we're waiting to hear. He's out there snoring. We're waiting to hear, but that will give him Medicaid until he's 18 years old, which is like a huge weight off our shoulders. It's not like, you know, to take him to the doctors once or twice with a $30 copay isn't bad, but like he's going like all the time everywhere, and the copays are like thousands of dollars at this point. And, you know, at first I was like, do we really need that? But, you know, he could have issues, like, all along. Like, you know, he could need to see an orthopedic doctor, you know, every once a year. He could need to see all these doctors. And just to not have to pay those copays is going to be, like, wonderful. And basically how this came about, they told us a little bit about it. Somebody very similar to our situation, back in, like, the 90s, I think it was, the late 90s, they had a child in the NICU for a long time. They were a middle-class family. They didn't qualify for Medicaid, and it was basically going to break them to have to pay these medical bills. So she said they sued New York State. I don't know exactly how that worked, but they did whatever they had to do through New York State, saying that, you know, because there were no programs available to them, because they didn't qualify, you know, this was basically going to financially break them. And, you know, it's really great that a program like that exists, because we talked to people when we were in the NICU, like, they had co-insurance, which means they were footing 20% of the bill. And at this point, NAICS medical bills, mostly for the NICU, are over $200,000. So, you know, how do you pay for that? You know, if you're an average middle-class family, that's a lot of money. So it's wonderful that programs like this exist. They're a pain in the butt to actually get. I have been working on this since before he was released from the hospital, and we're still not approved for it yet. They don't think there's going to be any problems. But you have to have, you know, early intervention come out, and then there's other people that come out. It has to be an agency that does it. It's just such a thing. And then we got into, like, a political battle where the agency that was supposed to do it was fighting with early intervention, so they wouldn't do it. It was just, it's such a mess. But we're fine, you know, just be persistent. And, you know, me being who I am, we're finally getting it done for him. And with it comes some extra benefits, which is absolutely wonderful. Somebody had actually mentioned respite in one of my other videos in the comment section, and it provides respite, which is basically they can have a nurse come into the house to be with Nate as, like, a babysitter, but it, you know, it's a nurse, so that because of his medical issues and things like that, so we could go out on a date, or we could go to dinner, because we've not done anything with Nate since Nate's been home, you know, which I don't mind. I mean, I don't care that we can't go out to dinner or go to the movies. However, it would be nice maybe once a month just to be with my husband, because it is so much. And, you know, people don't, it's not even that I don't trust people to be with Nate, it's that people don't feel comfortable with the feeding, and I know how scary it can be, you know, to feed him the way he has to be fed. So, that's nice. And the other nice thing is, if I did want to go to work, which I talked a little bit about this before, which I just found out, if I did want to go to work during the day, the nurse could actually be here. You know, they can assign as many hours a week as we need. Right now, they're trying to get 40 hours. And we actually thought that, because my husband went back to work this week, that we would have the nurse in here a few days a week, just so that she could be with Nate and feed Nate and play with Nate, you know, while I can get dishes and laundry and things like that done. So it's kind of nice. And if I ever did want to, you know, switch jobs where I have a day job, which I'm really not at that point yet. I still think my husband and I working opposite shifts is better. But, you know, to help Nate get a bath or something at night, we're kind of thinking she'd be here for maybe 5 hours 2 or 3 times a week or something like that. And then maybe once a month, you know, we'll go out or something, just the two of us. So that's in the works as well. Let's see, I just want to check my time real quick. Alright, ignore it. Sorry, this is long. I know there's a lot. I'm sorry. I know my house is wicked messy. You guys just got a shot of my desk. Again, why I need a nurse in here. Because I just need time to clean. In between all his appointments and everything, literally I have something going on every single day. Like, my calendar on my phone. Like, see all the, I don't know if you can see it. See all the red dates? That's like every day we have an appointment. There's just so many appointments and so much we had to do. It'll slow down once we actually get, the process going, and there's not so many evaluations we have to take him to. Once there's just like a steady schedule, it'll be much easier. I'm going to break this for now so that it doesn't take me too long to upload it and do a part 2. Okay, be back in a minute.